Webex is the one we are using now. That's the meeting.
Have this integration done. So thanks to that, all the information that is on Webwork is transferred automatically into Blackboard. For the instructor, there is not much work more to be done. It's basically one little link that has to be created in order for the assignments to appear and work on Blackboard. But there is so many other advantages besides that. So first thing is that students do not have to log in into Webwork. The only thing they need to know is what's their login is into Blackboard. Okay, all the grades that, all the assignments the students take in Webwork, they appear in Blackboard and all the grades are showing there. So you don't have to send them any grades. They don't have to, usually the emails exchange is much lower because of that. So that's another advantage. And for the instructor, you don't have to create an account for your students on Webwork anymore. Okay, once you create an assignment, everything that is within Webwork, all the, the students' information is being transferred to Webwork and then from Webwork to Blackboard. Okay, so there's just really one little thing that you have to do, which is create a link to an assignment so that the students can see that assignment. Okay, so we do already have a lot of resources available to you. We are going to share them. We already did, actually, Bianca did share them with you. They are on our QCC website. If you go into QCC website and basically go into our department, I'm going to guide you through the steps. So if you need to go back to it, you can. If you go into Mathematics, Computer Science department, then scroll down to the committees. Scroll down to the committees, Technology and E-Resources Committee. And here we have resources for Webwork. If you click here, you will see your Webwork resources that are available to you. Okay, there are a bunch of videos, bunch of instructions that you can also send to your students. Some tutorials. There's a tutorial video, very nice one by Natalia, where she explains step by step on how to create the LTI links. Anyway, this today's meeting is recorded, so if you need to go back to anything we're talking about today, you can always do that. But if there is anything, specific that you wanted to see and not necessarily watch today's meeting, then you can definitely do that by following those links that are available here. All right, so that's about the resources that we have here. And what I will do, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how to create an assignment in Webwork that we can link later to Blackboard. Before I proceed, are there any questions? Okay. Fei, I hope you monitor and you can see if there's anybody asking. Yes. Bianca?
Yes, can you hear me? Mike
yes.
Was not able to log into it. Just show how for the first comers, what an account is, which is each of these blue links that they see they have to click. Yes, and then it's going to ask their password.
Yes, so once you're in Webwork, you look for your account. So mine is right here. I mean, I have multiple accounts, but if you have one, you log into whichever one you want. For example, Fei has multiple accounts, so whatever course you teach and whichever one you need to log in, that's the one you will log in. So I'm going to select my 119 course, and I already have lots of things in here. You probably will not see so many on your account. And actually, I should probably log out so that you can see my login. So it's asking you for your username and the password. So you type in your username and the password. Okay, and then you continue and you log in, and this is exactly what you will see. All right, so everyone should have their password and login ID sent. Okay, so once you're in your Webwork page, again, depending on what you have available, your main screen will look a little different, but what's important is what we can see on the left-hand side. Okay, so if you do want to create a homework, there are several ways you can do that. So first thing, your account is most likely made with some pre-made homeworks. One way to get to them is by going into homework set editor. So for example, what does that mean? This means that when we create an account for you, most likely, or a lot of you always say, oh, can you please create my 119 course just like, Bianca's course, or including my documents or Fei's documents and whoever else's. then you can always import their assignments and you can change them as you go. Okay, one way to do that is you go into Homework Set Editor, and there are options such as import. If you click on import, and again, remember that what you do in this account, in your own account, will not have effect on somebody else's account. Okay, so if you delete an assignment, it's deleted only from your account. Okay, an assignment is added to your account. So there is an option on how many assignments do you want to import. You can do a single set, or you can do multiple sets, depending on what you're looking for. Okay, it's very easy to do both types, a single or multiple set. I already have my sets, so I don't need to import anything. But if you wanted to import something, let's say select this assignment, and I'll select another one right below it, and maybe one more. So if you're done with selection, if those are the only assignments that you wanted to import, then you press Take Action. Once you press Take Action, I'm not going to do that because I already have them below, but if you take action, then those assignments will add up to your homework list, and they will appear right here below. I don't know if you guys are working already. If you wanted to try out and see how things are working, you can do so. And just let me know if you do have any questions. Okay, so let's say, you added one of the assignments, and I'm going to take a look at this one. You can always edit that. It doesn't mean that all the questions there are there, you have to use them. If you think, for example, if I look at my assignment before quiz 2 that has 15 questions, I can manipulate, I can change this if I want to. So if you go to your problems, you click on Render All, and then you will be able to see what questions are included in that assignment. Okay. So if you happen to like all these problems, you can include them. If you feel like some of the problems are repeated and you don't need them in your assignment, let's say that you don't want to use this number 7 problem, it's not a problem. You can delete that. Okay, as easy as that. Then you click this for deletion. Once you do that, what you wanted to do is you wanted to save the changes. And again, I'm not going to do it because this is actually the actual assignment. If you wanted to actually have that problem deleted, you have to click Save the Changes. If you don't click Save the Changes, it will not do it for you. Another thing is, since those problems are numbered from 1 to 15, what you want to also do is force problems to be numbered consecutively. That means if you delete one problem, it's not going to be missing number 7. The problems will renumber. Okay, so that's one thing that you wanted to also change. It's not a huge problem, but it's nice to change that. Now we can play around here, and you can change your the weight for each problem. If you want to give more than 1 point for any problem that you have, you can do so. You can change to any number, it will allow you. The only thing that you will always want to remember is that at the very end, you always want to click Save the Changes. If you don't press Save the changes that you make within the problem will not appear, and they will still be to whatever they were at the very beginning. You can change the maximum number of attempts. We usually have problems set up to unlimited number of attempts. If you think that's way too much, you don't want to give that option to your students, you can change them to 1 attempt, to 2 attempts, to 3 attempts. Since those are the homework assignments, we felt like it's the best to give them a limited number of attempts. As long as they want to do it, why not? Another thing is that every time they attempt the problem, they will see different problems, so they will see different numbers, so that should not be a problem. Another thing is there's more features to this. If you want, you can edit any specific problems. Let's say you don't like something about this problem. Maybe you don't want to have this minus. You want to change it to a plus, or whatever else it is. Maybe you don't want to have this power of 4, or you want to have a power of 2, or any other things. Or if you want to add an extra variable, you can do that by editing the problem. Now, I'm not sure if I should go into details because, if you are a first-time user or, fresh person entering Webwork, that might be a little bit too much for you. We would probably suggest this just, to add or remove problems, but probably not edit some of your first semester. But again, there's always an option. As you can see, there's this is coding here, so that you will have to play around and make your changes. That takes a little bit of practice, but you can always do that. And again, whatever changes you make here, those are the changes that will only appear in your account, okay? Nobody else's. Now, let me go back to the problems. One more thing. If you wanted to add problems, you can do that. You can either do that by adding a problem. You can say add blank problems like 2 or 3 or as many as you like. That's one way to do it. Or another way to do it is by going here, go to library browser. So let's say you work on this before quiz 2 and you decide, oh, I'm missing some problems. I would like to add 2 more questions to it, okay? Then you can do that. So go to library browser. Now add problem set to target set. You need to select what problem set you wanted to add. So I believe that was before test something, before test. I think it was before test 2, if I'm not mistaken, but it doesn't really matter what assignments we. Let's say I wanted to add more questions to before test assignment, okay? So you wanted to first make sure you select the set that you want to add questions to. And now we have option. You can either select from open library problems, you can select from local problems from this course. So let me start from this course. From this course, that means any homeworks that are already available to you. If you feel like maybe, you know, the questions that you had on some homework that you would like them to repeat, and you just wanted to browse those questions, then you can do that. You can just add from this homework set. So I will do that. So let's say I'm just going to browse my before quiz 2. I want to see what problems I'm having there, and I will add those to my assignment. It takes a while to load. It usually doesn't take so long to load, but for some reason it's not cooperating with us today. Okay. So now you can see that already this problem here is in my target set. So this problem, I'm not going to add it again because it's already there, okay? Now, if you wanted to add this problem, what you have to do is just click add. Okay, I click add and then look what happens here. I get this message that says, added 1 problem to set before test 2. Okay, so 1 problem is just added. As easy as that. Now it says, this is in your target set. Okay, now this problem is not in my target set. If I want to add it, I do the same thing and click add. Okay, so that's how you're adding your problems. Let's say you don't want to add anything from this course, you want to add something from local problems, and you can do that. So local problems are problems that are in your account, okay? So this is Fei linear inequality. So what I will do, I will check what problems he has over there, and I will add something maybe from his account if I like it, okay? So if you want to add problem number 1, again, you just click add, and then you get the message that the problem was added. Okay, and then you will see this message that says this problem is in your target set. Okay, so that's one way. Those are the 2 different ways of adding. Now we have something more broad, which is open problem library. So this is what Webwork has available to us from entire United States. Okay, from all the colleges around United States that are using Webwork. So now this is divided into subjects, so you can select any subject you like. Okay, since we're looking at algebra, I'm going to select algebra topic, subject. Now we can select chapter, whatever you looking for. Just the first one, algebra of real numbers and simplifying expressions. Okay, and then let's say you wanted to do evaluating expressions. Okay, now you can show more than 20 problems per page. Here it says there are 133 matching problems, Webwork problems, that correspond to those topics that I've selected. And you can change the view to more than 20. I'm just going to leave it for now like this, and I will click view the problems. So first, before adding them, I want to see what's available there. Okay.
So Eva,
yes.
Before you move on, can you say how to create a homework set from scratch?
Yes,
in the library browser.
Yes, I'm going to do it right after this. So once I go over that, and that's the next step I'm going to do. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So if you want, so again, we're still adding this to the before test 2 assignment that was already pre-made. And again, if you want to add some problems, you click add, and again, you get this message that this is. Someone has a question? So again, if I click add, this will show in my targets. Again, you're getting this message. It's in your target set, and then added 1 problem set to before set 2. Okay, so that's how I added some problems to my pre-existing assignment. Now, if you do want to create a new set from scratch, there are a few ways of doing it. What I will do, I will show you, I guess, the easiest way. So here I go to the library browser again. Okay. Now it says here we have this blue box that says create a new set in this course. So let's say I'm going to call this demo 1. Okay, so this is my demo homework set. and you have to click create a new set in this course. You have to click this box in order for the homework to be created. Okay? Okay, so now it says that demo 1 has been created and it was assigned to me. Okay, it's only assigned to me, nobody else. Okay, so now I have an option now that this homework set has no problems in it, obviously. So I have an option of how I want to choose problems to it. I can either visit Open Library, I can visit local problems, I can visit from this course, and the set definition file is probably, you don't want to go into there. So you already have 3 options, and that's plenty of problems, trust me. I guess I'm going to start with Open Library problems. I select a topic. Let's do it again, algebra. That's fine. And then evaluating expressions. I'm going to view my problems. I don't know if is somebody trying to say something, or is it just my voice in the background again?
I think the problem is that people have their mics on and they need to mute them.
Okay, so can you guys please mute them, or maybe Fei, if you are in the power of muting the microphone, please do so. Okay, so
I already muted all except Vivian. I couldn't do it. I don't know why.
Okay, I don't know how
maybe she's logging in from a phone or something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But it looks like the problem has stopped for now, so let's see what happens. Okay, so now I'm going to add some problems to my target set demo 1. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the few first problems. So this one here, that one over here, maybe this one here. As you can see, what changes is that it says your problem is in target set. Okay, you can skim through. You don't have to add every single problem, right? You can just choose what you like to be in your problem set. Okay, so I added some problems. Now, if you wanted to go and see what is your homework set, what does it look like, what problems you have, go into homework set editor on the left-hand side. So now you have to look for the homework that you named demo 1, in my case. So mine is at the very bottom right here. Okay, so now you can click either on this little pencil that will take you to making changes to your homework set, or you can click here on number 4 that says edit the problems. And also what you have another column is that shows assign users for that specific homework set. But for now, what I will do, I will just click on number 4. I mean, or you can go to pencil, whichever one you prefer, but more options you're going to find if you click on number 4. Yes.
Eva, I believe that the pencil only gives the editing to the dates.
Yes,
you can show
that. Yes, I can show that, absolutely.
Number 4 is better.
It's more, it has more options, yes.
Yes.
So yes, if you only click here, that's a quick way to change the dates, availability of when the assignment becomes available and when it closes. One thing to notice is that the close date and the answer date. So the answer date is when the answers become available to the student. The way I always set them up, I always try to make sure that the close date and the answer date is the same. And for the reason for that is because sometimes students don't bother checking at the close date. They check when the answers becomes available, and that's what they think they have time to submit their homework. Okay, so when you set both of them to have the same date, usually you have no problems and no questions asked of why there are 2 different dates. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Let me go back. Okay, so demo, I'm going to click on this number 4. That just means how many questions you have in that specific homework set. Okay, so click on number 4, and then what you see here is also general information, meaning that you can also change your open and the close date for the answers, etc. You can also manipulate. If you click render all, you can see your problems, and you can change your questions. You can add more or delete some if that's what your preference is. And again, maybe let me show you one more time how to delete problems. Let's say I decided to delete, let me change this to Majax. If you decide to delete, let's say number 3, I figured, oh, this is not the problem I wanted to actually have in my homework set. I'm going to delete that. Okay, when you're deleting this, I want to make sure that problems are, again, numbered correctly. So I'm going to save my changes. And now I only have 3 problems, and they again number correctly 1, 2, and 3. If I didn't have this option force problems to be numbered consecutively, then I'll have number 1, number 2, and number 4. Okay. Now let's go and change the date. So if you want to change the date, you can either click here on this calendar to change for whatever date you want this to be. So let's say you want your homework to open today, maybe a little earlier than 11:59. 7:20. You can do it like this, or what you can do is you can just simply type in here when you want your homework to be open. Okay, so you have an option. The same for the closing date. Since I like them to be the same, I just copy and paste one into the other that make things faster. You want to make sure that this set is visible to your students. Okay, and this is the homework type. Later on, I'm going to go over that it's possible to also create what's called a test in Webwork. Okay, but first let's do the homework. Okay, so I'm going to save my changes. Now my homework is saved. Another thing, remember when I went back, and if you go back to the homework set editor, you'll see that my homework set is only assigned to 1 out of 52 people that I have in my account, okay? If you want to assign this homework set, so far it's only assigned to me. If you click on that, you will see that the test is assigned only to myself, nobody else. If you want to assign this test, if you want this test to be visible to your students within Blackboard, what you want it to do is either you can manually select who you want the set to be available to, or simply click assign to all users. And automatically all users will be assigned to that test, and then make sure you press save. Okay, are we good so far? So this is what we need in order for us. So before, before we had any Blackboard, when we put the problems into the Blackboard assignments, we still had to go through the same steps. So this is nothing new, okay? What's new and what we need in order for this homework set to work in Blackboard is we need to get a link for this homework set, okay? So go into homework sets on the second part here on the left. Go into homework sets. Now click on this demo one. You want to click on that homework, and then you have your status. It says the homework is open, and it shows also when it closes. Also, it says here you must log into this set via your learning management system, that is, for example, Blackboard. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So click on this demo one. Okay, now you have your problems. You have 3 problems the way we said it. You show how many attempts students are given. You show how much each problem is worth. Okay, now in order for this problem to work on Blackboard, what you need is the link from the top. Okay, so it has the name, the webwork.qcc.cuny.edu webwork2. And then it also has this information, which is my course name, East Telmac 119, and it's the name of the course. That's all we need. The other part, the user's configurations, this is not what we wanted to copy. Okay, we only copying up to the name of the homework. So this is what you want to copy. So if you are following my my demonstrations, make sure you copy this. And now we're going to move on to move on to Blackboard to make this assignment available to our students. Okay, so let me go into Blackboard. Now in Blackboard, there are some things we wanted to do. So first thing, you wanted to find the course that you wanted to add this assignment to. Oops, let me just go back to the main page. I'm going to be adding that to my, let's say, Spring 2020. Okay. So those are also already pre-made assignments because I've used that last semester. Actually, before we even create a homework, there's one thing you wanted to check on your account in Blackboard. Go into customization and look for tools availability. You want to make sure that the LTI link is enabled, and QCC Webwork as well. So look for QCC Webwork first. Actually, I found LTI, so I'm going to do that first. So make sure this LTI and LTI link are enabled. Okay, so those two have to be selected. And also look for QCC Webwork. Okay, here it is, QCC Webwork. You also want to make sure that this is selected and it's enabled. Okay, and then submit your changes.
Eva. So yeah, this part is important because if it's not selected, but I think CUNY Central make that as a standard. So just in case something's not working, it's good to check. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So it's good to always check this. Yeah. So if you don't have that, make sure you do, and then make sure you click submit. And now we can go ahead into your, I'm going to post my assignment in online homework. Okay, so as you can see, I already have some homeworks, pre-made homeworks, but I'm going to post the new one that we just created, which is the demo one. Okay, so you wanted to go into build content, go into web link. Okay, you want to name your assignment. I'm going to call this demo 1 homework. Okay, now it's asking us for URL. So what we have just copied from Webwork, this is what we wanted to paste in here. Okay, now you wanted to now select this option that says this link is a tool provider. Okay, because this is coming from Webwork. So now this is going to do this transition of grades and then the problems. So next part is you wanted to make sure you enable your evaluation so that you will see this assignment in your grade center. So automatically the grade will be transferred into your Blackboard. Possible points, we encourage to put 100. And then you can always, you know, when you do your, at the end of the semester, weights, you can always change that to, you know, whatever your homework is going to be. I always change them to, you know, if it's 15 or 20%, you can always change that. But I make my homework always out of 100 points. If you wanted to make it different, that's fine too. There's a way to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me point out one thing. So basically the LTI is letting Blackboard and Webwork to talk in terms of transferring this information. So once the student will click on that link that you're making right now, it's going to take to Webwork. So basically, this screen is just telling information how Blackboard is going to receive back the information from Blackboard. We extremely encourage the 100%, make this as a percentage. So any homework that you assign, that obviously you could put, let's say your homework has 3 problems and each of them has one point, right, worth. So in total is 3 points. You could put 3 points as points, but in order to transfer the information correctly on the grade book in Blackboard, you need to make that a percentage because otherwise it's not going to transfer well. Because Webwork is set up to transfer information as a percentage, so that's the best. So what I do, I actually set up all my assignments, even though I have 3 problems, I kind of distribute the weights, but I make 100 points. So this information never goes wrong.
Absolutely. Like that's what I always do. But
that is not possible to access. It's just the way they're going to see the points on the grade book on Blackboard that may be slightly different if that's not a percentage. It's just a recommendation, and I highly recommend to do that just to avoid the students seeing slightly different numbers that you don't want that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me also make a comment here. So since the grade transfer back is a percentage of the homework, right? So on the Blackboard, you have a grade. On the Webwork, probably have another grade. So at the end, if you're going to use the grade to do the class overall calculation, you have to tell students which one you're relying on. Do you just 100% for each homework, or are you going to use the total points in the Webwork? Because Webwork eventually, if you look at the total grades for homework, that's based on how many points he earned, how many points in total. So kind of a slightly different calculation. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I put everything percentages. So there is no issue. Whatever they see on Webwork will be what they see on Blackboard. And of course, the when you do the computations with the grade, also the percentage help within Blackboard, by the way.
Absolutely. Okay, so there are more features that you can change here. I think Robert put in some comment. I can't see it now, but I think he wrote a message. So if somebody wants to read that, Fei or Bianca.
Let me take a look. Does that make every homework set the same weight, no matter how many problems are in it?
At the beginning, yes. So automatically Webwork does that. It assigns 1 point to every single problem. But you can do that. You can make those changes manually. So every problem is being assigned 1 point.
In the past, I used to leave the 1 point. I didn't bother to change, but with the integration in Blackboard, it became way better if I do everything out of 100%.
Okay.
So I do change manually the points there.
The manually, yeah. I mean, you know, once you do it for the class, it's like, what, 12, 15 problems you usually assign for the set. So it doesn't really take a lot of time to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so in Webwork, in Blackboard, I'm sorry, you can, you have more options here. Of course, you want to make sure that the set is visible to the students. You can change the due date. You don't have to select that because it's already in Webwork. That will show to the students what is the deadline. So you don't have to do that. If you want to add a description, you can do that. If you want to add some files, you can do as well. But, if you want to keep it as simple just to show the link, that's all you have to do. Okay, so make sure that this option, this box here is selected, that enable evaluation. Yes option is selected, you put your points, and then just submit. Okay, when you submit, you should see your homework. At the very bottom here, you will see your homework created. Now, if you wanted to view, make sure that everything went correctly, what you can do is try clicking on it. And this is exactly what you as students will see. If you click launch, then you will see a problem. You will get an error. Every single time you as an instructor will get an error if you try to access the homework this way. Okay. If you want to see your homework, what you have created, you need to enter a student preview. Oops, sorry, went out.
I think you have opened the link tab on the top. Oh, you went there. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. So what you need to do is you need to, if you want to see this homework, you need to enter a student preview. Okay, so you see this eye over here? It's a little dot with arrows pointing. So that's a student preview. Okay, so click on that. And now you can see this message on the top. It says student preview mode is on. And this is what your students will see. So if I go into my online homework, okay, now if I click on demo homework 1, again, I get the same message, but if I click launch, I should be able to see my homework set. Okay, and it says the demo closes, there's a closing date, and you have your problems. You can click on the problems and you can do them. So this is exactly what your students will see. Okay, if you want to go to the next problem, you click go to the next problem, and so on and on. Okay, and of course you wanted to submit your answers. Now, if your student encounters a problem, what you can do is, they can email you. If they click email instructor, you will get an email from your students about the specific problem set. So if they click right now at this point, email the instructor, you will get a message that says, your X and Y student has the problem with this following question, and here's the question of the student. You will see the problem, the link to the problem, and you also will see students' questions. So you don't have to go back and browse the entire homework set to see what exactly the problem is. Okay, any questions? So going back here, I'm going to exit the preview because if you are in a student view, then you can't do anything on Blackboard. You can only preview what the homework looks like.
Let me, Eva, sorry. Let me just point out one thing. So when the student click on that link and they launch, if they see any kind of error message, usually Webwork tells what kind of error happened, and it's going to be written in red letter column. So useful, especially for the online set that we are, doing right now. I always recommend that the student, and you as instructor should tell the student if they encounter an error, to screenshot and send you. So that screenshot of what they see kind of give a hint what kind of possible error it's. Usually is the link is not set correctly to the assignment, or the assignment's not open, or assignment's already closed, something like that. And that screen kind of tell you, so then you can communicate better with your student.
Yes.
And make the adjustments necessary.
Okay, so that's how we created the homework. Now we can go back to Webwork and we can make the changes to that homework set still, if you like. But again, you wanted to make changes only if your students have not attempted it. Otherwise, it will not be fair, right? If you add or delete some problems. Now, I guess what I wanted to do again is to show you how to create a test. Unless there are any questions, unless anyone wants me to stop and has questions before we proceed to showing the test. Okay, so let me show you how to create a test. Again, the same way, go to library browser if you want to start from the scratch. So let me call this demo test. Create a new set in this course. Okay, So I'm going to be adding problems to my demo test set. And this time I'm going to go to my course to select questions from my course. I'm going to go into my demo 1 homework, because let's say I like my number 1 so much that I want to repeat and make sure that, you know, this question is again showing on my demo test. So let's say I'm going to add question number 2. So that question is added now to my demo test. Okay, now I don't want to add any other questions, so I might go to a different homework set. Let's say I'm going to select some before quiz 1 problems. I'm going to view them. Okay, let me add like 2 or 3 more questions. Okay, add them. Oh, add all. Not a good idea. Okay, I added 14 questions. Anyway, now let's go back to the homework set editor. Let's say I have enough problems in my set. Okay, demo test 1. Okay, so this is how many questions I have. So I'm going to click on that. And again, if you want to go back to your questions, if this is not what you wanted, if you know, if some questions are not, see, like here it says this problem uses the same source as file number 2. So you probably don't want to repeat those questions unless you wish for it, then you can do that. But otherwise, I would remove those questions. Okay, so if that's what you wanted to do, just click delete or questions are repeated. Make sure you save the changes. Now, if you can see, I deleted questions, but now look 4, 8. So I haven't done this option of making sure that the questions are numbered consecutively. So make sure you make that change one more time. Okay, so the process so far is the same as for setting up the homework. Okay, now what we wanted to do is to change the assignment type. So if you change to getaway quiz, now as you can see, nothing has shown different about this. It will not show unless you click save the changes. If you click save the changes, you will see more options. Okay, so now again, open date and the close date and answers available. What I always do again is set up the date for the closing and the answers when they become available to be the same. You wanted to make sure your set is visible to your students. This is called the quiz to test. Now we have more options here as what you wanted to do with the test. So the test time limit. So how much time do you want to give to your students to complete the test? Say you want to give them 120 minutes, so 2 hours. Okay, cup test time as set close date. So what this means is if you press yes, that means if your test ends at 11:59 and someone tried to access the test at 11:55, they only have 5 minutes to complete the test. If you say no, then that means if someone accesses the test at 11:55, they still have 120 minutes to complete the test. Okay, so it's up to you if you wanted to do that. Number of graded submission per test. So that means, you know, if they're taking, sometimes it even by mistake, sometimes students click at the very bottom, you know, grade my test. And if you don't change this, if you just leave it at 1, after the first submission, their test will be pretty much over. They will have no more attempts for that. But if you change this to, let's say, to 5, they will be able to, you know, press the test, submit the test 5 times within the specific time, within this 120 minutes. It's not like they give them more time, it's just within that time frame. Okay. Time interval for new test. If you don't put anything here, then that means they only have 1 version of the test within that 120 minutes. And I would suggest you don't. If it's a test, you want them to have just 1 version, because if you do change this number 5, you know, to number 5 instead of just being 1, and if you change this guy here, then, you know, students will have more than 1 version of the test. They will have to repeat things. So it's better to keep it simple for yourself and for your student, just in case if they have any questions with particular problems. Number of tests per time interval. I'm just putting one test, unless you want to give more. Order problems randomly, it's up to you. You can have the same order for every student or different. So it's either yes or no. Number of problems per page. 0 means all problems will show up on 1 page. You can do that, or you can change to 1, you can change to 2, whatever your preference is. Okay. Now, if you're giving a test, show scores and finish assignment, you have an option of showing them or not showing, or only after the set answer date. It's what your preference is. I usually like to not to show the tests and then just make them available later on Blackboard manually. But again, it's your preference of how you wanted to do that. Show problems and finish test, I usually say no as well, so that they don't see right away what happened, and just make the date available later on Blackboard where I'm showing this to everybody. But again, it's your preference. You can make those changes yourself. Okay. So now our test is ready, and we can just save the changes. So now we have created a test. Again, if you want to make that test available on Blackboard, you go into homework sets, and you wanted to look for your demo. Take demo test right here. Okay, so that test will open on the 20th. I should have probably changed the date so it's available now. Let me go back to that for a second. I change my date here. Make this available today. Well, today is the 13th. It's okay. Okay, so now the test is available. I'm going to go to homework set test. Look for it. Okay, so again, you want to click on that so that you get a link. Okay, so now again, what you wanted to do is copy the name of your assignment all the way up to, so there's a Webwork link, your course name. In my case, it's Stelmach MA119 quiz mode demo test. Okay, so select copy. And now go into your Blackboard. And the same way, build content. You want to go into web link, give it a name. So this is a test trial. Enter your URL. This is a tool link provider, evaluation, enable it, yes. Put 100 points, make it available to your students. If you like, you can put a description. When I do my tests, I usually like my students to show the work. So I always give them a description on how to provide me their written answers. And again, I like to actually use Blackboard, not Blackboard, but Dropbox for them to submit their answers. And I always put the link in here. That's just my little hint for you if you do want to see their work. But Webwork will not allow for them to show the work. So that's one way to do it, especially for the tests. Okay, open in a new window. If you want, you can track the number of views. So this is the extra part that if you want, you can set it up. If not, that's fine as well. Select date and time restrictions. So if you do not want a test to show after a certain, certain date, if you don't want them to log into that homework, then you can do that here. That will not show on your Blackboard page, if you set it up to a specific date. And I guess we're ready to make this available. So submit. And you have your test trial here. Okay, and again, if you want to view that, you need to go back and change your view to student preview. So student preview, again, is something that your students will be able to see and what they exactly see. Online homework, that was a test trial. Launch. Oops, oh, one more thing. It's good actually that it happened. You see what I did? I have not made this homework on Webwork. So go back to your Webwork again and go into your homework set editor. I did not make this test. I did not assign this test to all the users. And that actually, it's a good that it happened. So this way, at least if it happens to you, you know how to fix it. It's very easy to fix.
Let me point out, sorry, Eva. So the first time you create the first assignment on Webwork and no student ever linked to your account, their account will be created automatically and they will be assigned to all visible sets. So if you have only one homework or one test, that's what they're going to see. They're going to be assigned automatically. For the second and third and so forth, assignments that you create in Webwork, you do have to assign to them because they already have this account created within Webwork, and now you have to tell the system, hey, these users can, see this assignment, can use this assignment. So you do have to assign what we do after the first one to the specific users. Usually it's all your group of students.
Yes, unless you have all the assignments pre-made before the semester starts, before any of the students accesses the assignments.
Yes, that's the exception there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So go into demo test again, and here you can see that the test is assigned to only 1 out of 52 users. So make sure you click on that. And just like we did before, we're going to assign to all the users. Webwork is being slow today for some reason. I guess it takes forever.
Yeah, it's slow. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Sometimes it slows down if it's too many people taking exams at the same time. I don't think that's the case now, but yeah, it's slow today.
Now, this always happens whenever there's a demo, so
Oh.
it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so yeah, finally. So I'm going to assign to all the users. And again, you can also do it manually if you don't want to assign to everybody, but it doesn't matter to me at this point. Make sure you save the changes. If you don't save the changes, it will not assign the assignment. So now we can go back to Blackboard. I'm going to exit the student preview and do it again. Online homework. Oh, wait, I have to enter it again. Online homework and test trial. Launch. Okay, so this is exactly what our students will see. So here in the right corner, we have remaining time to submit the test, and you have problems here, okay? The way this should appear. And at the very end, when you're done, when you finish, you can press grade the test. If you, let's say, selected some answers, you can just preview the test to make sure that you have you have answered all the questions. But usually for the students, it's just grading the test. Okay. So that's how you access your assignments. That's how you create them and how you access them. Bianca and Fei, did I go over everything, or is there anything else that we need to go over?
It would be nice if we can go within the instructors that would like to practice this creation and create.
Sure. Actually, you know what? One more thing: how to see the grades from students. Let me just put something in 66. I don't know, 12. Don't check my math. I'm not good at math. This is y equals to 12. Again, 12 for some reason. Just selecting some numbers, solve, enter. So A is equal to 4. Oops. A is equal to 4. Just random numbers just to see what it looks like in the answers. Okay, so grade the test. And then we can see how that shows in Blackboard. Okay, so now when I submitted my test, you can see your score on test 1 was recorded. Your score on this test is 1 out of 15. Terrible. And your score was successfully sent to LMS. That means it was sent to Blackboard. Okay. So the student, again, if you do decide to show them the score, they will see it. If you decide to hide the score, they will not see it when they take the test. But then when they go back to Blackboard, they will be able to see it. Okay. Now, and the same goes with the answer if you choose to show them the answer or not. So you can also see what happened if your answer was correct or not. Immediate response. Again, this all depends on what did you set it up your what features you used in your Webwork account to show for your students. Okay. And now let me
Eva, Eva, for this demo test, did you just give one
yes, I only
submission?
did one. Yes,
No,
yes.
Just one submission?
Yes, I changed it to 1, yes.
Oh, okay.
Other thing that I want to point out is Webwork kind of records what's going on once the student clicks the link and enters the system. For if something goes wrong, the best way, especially with exams, if you set up the exam to show one problem per page, is better than show all at once in one single page. The reason why is because if they see everything in one page, they're gonna start to enter so it sometimes take a long time because they work on the problems and they go back and put the answer for problem number 1, work on the next problem and go back, put the answer for number 2 and so on. If they run out of time without changing page, for Webwork, it means like they are inactive. The Webwork doesn't see when they put the answer in, they see when the links move, when there's an action caused by links changing. So the best way to set up exams is actually one problem per page. So a student can jump to problem number 2. And as soon as they jump to problem number 2, it signals Webwork that they are active. And actually Webwork records that answer on first problem, and also tells when it happened, what time it happened. And if they just move without doing anything to the next problem, it's thing. So the best way to keep track if something goes wrong, and sometimes the students say that something went wrong, so you kind of can figure it out what went wrong just by looking at that log, that record of what transpired within the time frame they were inside the system. Yes. One single page, it doesn't give all that feedback.
Yes. Okay, so let's go back to Blackboard and let's go to my grades, right? No, grade center. Where's the grade center? Oh, I'm in the student preview. Sorry, exit this. Okay, let me go to the grade center. Okay, grade center, and I wanted to see full grade center. Okay.
You should have your preview student there.
Yeah, so test trial. How come it's not showing?
When you exit the code, probably it was set up, delete all the
all
the data
yeah,
from the
delete all the data. So it's not going to show. But anyway, if you'll be able to see, like you can see now at this point, there's only 2 dots. That means no one have taken the test. Okay, if you see any score, if it says 0, 0, that means they've seen it, but they just probably didn't answer any questions, or they just gave all the wrong answers. If you see any numbers, that means how much they have gotten on any specific assignment. Okay, but both of these that we have created, they have no scores, just because I should have saved that. I probably deleted all the data for myself without paying attention too much. Anything else? Actually, what you can also do is you can check the grades on Blackboard as well. So go into
student progress.
Yeah, you can go into students' progress. You can view it by student, or you can view it by set. Let me go into. Let me show you anything outside this assignment here after quiz. You can see, what students have taken. I don't think this has been assigned anywhere. Let me see anything else that was, let's say, homework number 10. Okay, so this will show you what does it look like. So here for the administrator, you can see that when you see blue line and then zeros below it, that means this was never attempted by that person. Okay, now here, one student attempted every single problem and they got 100 on every single problem. Now you can see that this question here, they attempted 13 times. Question number 1, they got it the first trial. Question number 2, they attempted after, twice. And so the bottom number shows the number of attempts, how many attempts did it take them to answer the questions correctly. You can see this is a good student, 28 attempts, right? Who will do that? But for example, here, what we have, this was probably, a question that was grading, had multiple parts to it. So for example, this problem student attempted twice, but they only got 50% on that problem. So one part was correct, the other part was not. This last problem here was either not attempted, or they just got actually it was attempted and they got a 0, because if the problem was not attempted, it will be just a simply dot. Okay, so if there is a 0, that means the problem was attempted, but they got a 0 for it. Okay, so this is what you will see in Webwork as well. Okay, you can see the score out of how many points, what grade they got. And you can also download that. You can download this, you know, all the assignments that you have in Webwork all at once. I'm not sure there's anything else. So there are multiple ways. You can either view statistics for the entire classes or by sets, or you can view students' progress, or you can go to scoring tools, depending on what you're looking for. If it's the end of the semester, if you wanted to download your scores from Webwork rather than from Blackboard, you can do that too. If you go to scoring tools, you can select the assignments that you wanted to download your scores, and that will nicely download a Excel file for you. Okay, so and then this is one Excel file. I can show you a sample what it looks like.
So Eva, you mentioned we get a weight from points to percentage on Webwork.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show us how to do that?
On Webwork, you mean on Blackboard?
Oh, you're talking about the Blackboard.
On Blackboard, it's possible to change. Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the display, in the grade center.
Yeah, Mario asked this question. So can you change the weight from points to percentage on Webwork?
No, I believe you can do that on
Webwork is only points. So
just
what
numbers, points.
do is like 100 points. Distribute the points among the problems, so your total is 100. So that makes it like a kind of percentage in a case. On Blackboard, if you don't do this in Webwork, you just leave the points. On Blackboard, you can set up to the information to be displayed as a percentage in the gradebook.
Yeah, I know Natalia talks about it in her video on how to make those changes. I forgot exactly what it is. I think it's somewhere in the control panel.
So you are in the gradebook. So select one of the see one of the columns that you see like 15 or 20. That's not 100. For example, it seems
here.
Like, so yeah, click on that arrow and edit.
Edit column information.
Yes.
Okay, yes, edit column information, primary display, you can change it to a percentage.
Yeah.
Okay, so change it to a percentage. Oh, hold on, so this was before, after exam video, submit. Okay, so this I've changed to a percentage. It has crazy amount of decimals, but I did change to percentage. I don't know, again, if it's possible to make this more user-friendly by not showing as many decimals.
That's why I set up Webworks to put the 100 points. So whatever they get is show exactly without all these decimals, because this is a Blackboard thing, show all the decimals. If it's not 100, let's say it's only 15 points, so you're gonna probably see some things like that.
Yeah, so you can change that within Blackboard pretty easily, actually. And I think there's also an option to change it for all the assignments in advance rather than doing it manually. And I think Natalia goes over that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's somewhere here in the course management. Yeah. So are there any other questions that you would like me to go over? Anything about Blackboard, Webwork?
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing how to assign one question per screen, like we were talking earlier.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna go back to the test that we did, the demo. You talked about the test or the homework, or anything.
Either one's fine. It's the same process for either, correct?
Oh no!
Actually, for the homework, it's not possible. Right? It shows all of it because there's no option here.
Homework is always one problem per page.
Yeah.
Is when you change it to the quiz mode, you can have all of them showing at once, one page, or you can select one per page. Again, I highly recommend one per page.
Correct. All right, so we could look at that. And my second question is on the student-facing screens. Is this mobile friendly? Most of them have mobile devices. And
yes.
And is there, I believe there's a Blackboard app. So would it be advantageous for them to download the Blackboard app to see this well? I haven't used it, so I don't know what the best practice is for your classes.
Eva, I think when you did run the test for the diagnosis, I think the IT tested all possible. I think Quincy test. And he said that it was basically all browsers, any kind of device, it should, even phone, it should open up. Webwork works on that. Now, Blackboard, I don't know. I assume that it does. So because we do have the app, right? So if you go
when
into
we
Blackboard,
tested it for diagnostic exams, it was working well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me.
It was working well through the app or through the browser. I mean.
No. So basically,
just,
so Webwork, there's no app.
Webwork has no
Blackboard, you
app.
have app, right? You go to Blackboard and using the app, you click the link. I think this link, the link will be open in a browser. So we'll leave Blackboard to a browser. So
yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have tested it, using the Blackboard app.
I think he said he tested mobile too.
Mobile,
so it was working because it's web browser. So and the browsers basically, again, almost, I don't know any browser that has an issue with Webwork currently. So used to have in the past, but I think they fixed that.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the test and showing just one problem per page, number of problems per page, we changed the 0, which shows all, to, if you want to show one problem, just change it to one problem. Save the changes. Okay, and now.
Thank you.
And that's all. Actually, if we want, we can probably see this. I don't know if I'll be able to see it from here. Probably not. Now I have to go through my Blackboard. So let me go through my Blackboard. Let me do that one more time. Actually, since I already took it, I have to assign it.
Yeah, I think you could, as an instructor on Webwork, you should be able to see it as instructor in Webwork. Try.
Okay, yes, I'm able to see. So I see one problem here, right, per page, and then if you want to go to the next one, click on the next problem.
The only drawback with one problem per page, even though it's very convenient for an instructor to figure out what went wrong if something goes wrong, and they have a complete log record of all that was done, is that the students see one problem and they click grade test.
Right.
Because especially the first time they taking it, because they think because they are accustomed to homework, that's one problem you grade, another problem you grade, but the quiz mode is completely different set for Webwork, a different way of taking assignments. And they may be accustomed to the homework and then do the first problem and right away click grade. And that means they only give one time to your student to do the test. That basically lock him then out of the test. They won't be able to do it. So that usually happen the first time, and then they get to know the system and they know it's a problem to click on that grade test without moving on. So basically for the test, you do all the problems and then you grade. For homework, you do each problem and then grade each problem separately.
Yeah, but on the homework though, it says submit my answer. It doesn't say grade a test. It says submit.
Yeah.
So that's a little, if you read carefully, I think, the most important part is whatever you post in your assignment, regardless if it's a test or homework, you wanted to make sure you give clear instructions to the students, or you can also have a, short demo video demonstrating on how to proceed. But usually, if you do encounter any problems, you should do it the first time, and then, they get to know the system and things become a little easier.
By the way, the demo for the test taking, I did create a very short video, less than 5 minutes, I think, for my students, because I anticipated the issue in the first time they taking the exam online, because they are accustomed to the homework's way of doing it. And it's shared in the resources within our Webwork department's page.
Another way maybe it is change the number of grade submission.
Oh, that's another option. Yes,
absolutely. That.
You can do that too. So if you go to homework set editor, if you go to, again, the test, if you change number of graded submission per test, if let's say you have 15 questions, you write 15 and the problem is solved. Because they can submit their answers 15 times, meaning that for every problem, then even if they click submit, then they still will be good. Okay. If you want, I can show you again how this works on Blackboard. I can show you. I just need to unassign this from myself and assign one more time. Actually, hold on. Okay, now let me go back to Blackboard. And let me see this. Go to student preview mode. Online homework. Test trial. Okay, launch. Okay, so now I have one problem per page. Now you can see on the very top, it says you have 15 remaining on the test. Okay, so let's say I put 65, grade a test. Okay, my submission was recorded. Let me go. Okay, it shows that which problems were incorrect, which ones were correct. But since I have not attempted the other problems, obviously that's the message we wanted to see. I go to problem number 2 and I write my answer, y equals to 3, sorry. That's what I put. Okay. My second answer was not correct. If I retype this again, I press grade the test. Okay, will not record this at the moment for the second problem again, but now we only have 12 attempts remaining for the test. So I better not do that again. But let me go to number 4. I'm going to skip number 3 so that we can see what it looks like later on in the grade center. So you can see some of the problems even have videos embedded in them so the students can watch them.
Yes. Set up to show the results. I mean the scores.
I think so. I think it is.
That's
yes.
why
yes, we should.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Otherwise,
why
it wouldn't show that's correct or wrong. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, yes. And I think it's best not to show it, especially in cases like this where they have more than one attempt to grade their test. It's probably better not to stress them more than needed, you know. X equals to 7. Okay, so I'm going to grade my test and I'm going to exit at this point. Okay, again, wrong answer, unfortunately. Okay, so I can just exit this page, right? Because it's not going to clear things out, or will it? Let me just go back to this and see if I can exit the preview. Okay, I didn't get any message, so hopefully my data is still in. But if it's not, full grade center, and then test trial, still not showing.
I don't think for preview user the grade will transfer back.
Actually, it does, because we did, remember, Bianca, when we did the trial for the diagnostic exam, it was showing for us, but for some reason, I don't know why it's not. Maybe I have something set up that it's not showing, but normally it does. As you can see, I mean, I gave many assignments last semester. All the grades transfer very nicely from Blackboard to Webwork. It's just
yeah, but your preview user doesn't have account on Blackboard. Those are students, right?
Yes, but there should be a preview for the faculty as well here. It should have a preview account.
I see. Let
me show you something. Like, for example, if I go into a different account that I have on my Blackboard here, if we go to the grade center,
you see the message asking if you want to keep the data or not. No, so maybe something went.
Yeah,
that particular.
Yeah, you see this, for example.
It should ask you.
Yes, there's a preview mode of a person, and I mean, I resetted the test for her, but originally she had her score in here. So it should have been the case in this time as well, but I didn't get the message this time. I don't know why. But again, once you see your student scores, it's not a big deal if your scores appears or not, you know?
You can always see the score from Webwork.
True, you can always see the score from Webwork. All right, so are there any questions? Yes.
Yeah. And also I think multiple submission will also help students if, let's say, if the internet was broken, right? And they can go back to Blackboard to go to, link to the Webwork again and continue their test. And for example,
Yes.
now if you close the test tab. Yeah,
The test trial?
You can click test trial again. I think we'll.
Actually, let me just go back to the preview mode. On my homework. Yeah, so still able to.
They can resume and continue because they still have attempts remain for this test.
Yeah, so it's a good thing to do the attempts, to give them more attempts, so that sometimes there's a bad connection, internet connection, or for some reason they close the window, and things happen, right?
Yeah.
So if you give them more attempts, that shouldn't hurt. And again, it's not like they're getting a second version, or they have more time. The time will not extend.
So to be clear, these attempts we are talking about submissions, not
the
tests.
Submissions.
So
yes.
Attempt submissions. Yeah.
So the fact that they, instead of going from one question to the second question, they keep pressing grade the test instead of moving on to the next problem without pressing that grade button. Okay, so I think we did cover everything that we are supposed to cover. If there are any questions, we'll take them and let us know.
Okay, well, what's this about? I want the students to show their work on every test I give. Can this be done, or?
Well, it cannot be done in Webwork. What I normally do, I don't do that for the homework, but I do that for the tests. I always, within the test, I give them a link of where they have to submit their answers, and I have used Dropbox for that. So at least I can, I have what Webwork allows me to see is when did they access the test and how long they worked on it, and the fact that they submit their the files on Dropbox shows me how much time have passed between their submission of the Blackboard Webwork test versus the Dropbox submission. Because sometimes I did get students who were, who did submitted the Webwork test, in the morning, and then they submitted their answers late at night. I'm like, why there is a difference of 10 hours, So having that fact that they, use Webwork shows me that, okay, I know that they access the test at a specific time. They still put their answers in, but I also know when they should be submitting their Dropbox documents to me. So that's how I have been doing. I don't know what has been the practice for Bianca and Fei and others who have used it, but that's what I have been doing.
I use
instructions. No, I need instructions on how to
just use the Webwork to generate the test for me. So each student has their own version, basically. So make it a little bit hard for them to share answers because each one has different versions. But I do require them to show work as well, the same way as Eva. I actually changed it from Dropbox because it's just hard to go back and forth between different sites. And I now use basically an assignment within Blackboard. So they submit that either pictures or PDF files, whatever. So I can see and make notes online, and they see those notes as well. So I don't need to download to my computer at all.
Yeah, I think, Bianca, what you're saying about, giving different versions to students is good. But then if you think about it, it's, if you have them submit their tests and every student has different problems, it's so much grading to do for the instructor.
Yes, it is a disadvantage there. What one could do is to set up a static version of the test, meaning basically everybody would see the same, but you needed to change the coding, basically set up a particular number for showing the numbers to show the same to all students. But again, they could share, but that's one disadvantage there. So
Yeah.
Can you make a practice test on Webwork? Just
Yeah, so it just
not
the
counting.
the way you make the practice test is the same way as you make the regular test. It's just you give it a name instead of the way I called it a demo test. You can call it a practice test. The way you set it up is exactly the same way as you set up the test.
I just wanted to count for 0. They always
Okay.
have these points possible, and
What you
so
can do,
in this case, because you don't want to count the points, right? So in any case, Webwork will transfer the information to Blackboard. In Blackboard, I think you can set up to not show in the gradebook. That's all.
yes, you can show
And
not saying
also
or
do not show the answer or grading in Webwork. So that will take care of that.
you can also show just the completion. It shows that the something was completed only, rather than getting points for it.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
And also, when you create the test on Blackboard, there's a checkbox say evaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can uncheck that.
Yeah, you can uncheck that. Just don't evaluate.
Yeah.
And then the grade won't send back to Blackboard.
Yes. Any other questions? Was there something not clear? Would you like me to go over anything, or is there anything else coming to your mind, or?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, it looks like this session is being recorded, and I wanted to know, so how will that be available, that recording? How will the recording be made available? Like, in other words, that if I want to watch it over again to refresh myself, in case, whatever.
Yeah, so I'm sure that since Fei is hosting this meeting, he will just send a link to everyone after the meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will send the link to everyone. So once the video was generated by the Webex.
I can also make that link available on the web. So there.
Yeah, for that probably we want to make a editing for the video, because somehow like students' information, the names and the username was showing in some part.
Oh, true. Yeah, when I was in my grade book.
Yeah. But anyway, I will give it a try. But first, I think I will just send you the link, and then I will try to edit the video. Once if I can figure out how to do that, I will send you the link to post on the department resource page.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Vivian asked question, are you covering how to put together all the grades to get a final grade from quizzes and exams?
So you can do that on Blackboard, or you can do that on Webwork. Since we have this, this integration allowing us to transfer all the grades into Blackboard, I will just do that in Blackboard. So if you go to the full grade center, on the very top here in the right corner, it says work offline. You can download, click download, and this will generate the PDF of all the scores that you have. So you can either download the full grade center, you can select specific columns that you like. Okay, I will just say download the full grade center and then press submit. Okay, so the data has been saved to a file. To download the file and work offline, select download to open the file. So click download. Okay. Can you see what I'm sharing or not? Probably not, right?
I see it.
Oh, can you see the Excel file? Okay, so this is what I was able to download, okay, for all my students. And then if there is something you wanted to, you know, actually, I'm gonna close the name so that you can see it. If there's something you wanted to get rid of, you can. So there's a homework section, homework number 3, homework number 4, and so on and on. There's the demo homework here, the new test. So that's how you download, and then you play around just like, you know, you normally do, and organize it the way you like it. You can put the tests together, you can put the homeworks together and do your computations. Was that good enough for you?
There's one more question that I want to add to that.
Sure.
Thank you very much. And that's how do we put together the original proportion of the percentages for each of the quizzes and the exams so that Webwork is able to, in collaboration with Blackboard, do the final calculations?
So once you make the changes in Blackboard, I mean, whatever you transfer, the grades are being transferred from Webwork automatically to Blackboard, right? If you make the changes in Blackboard, how they appear, it doesn't mean that you change the, you know, the numbers itself. You just change the way they're showing. But the values are still the same. I don't know if I understood your question. But you don't need to make any changes. So the grade is still the same. It just may appear differently rather than, you know, showing as a, before when we had this problem as 15, now it shows as, you know, as a percentage as 100. But you just have to be consistent what you make the, you know, the tests or the quizzes to show up as on your Blackboard page. Did I answer your question? Are you okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other
All right.
questions, anyone? Let us know if something was not working out for you. If you need us to go over anything, we're more than happy to do that.
Okay, so if there's no question, let's thank Eva for this very great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And please feel free to email us if there are any questions, if you know, if you encounter any problems along the way as you explore Webwork.
Yeah, so if you're gonna have further questions, you can always email us, Bianca, Eva. Okay.
All right. So thank you so much for coming and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.